suffering a few injuries at this time and missing some games, he would still score 15 goals in 20.
Guys, welcome back to another video on the Planet Football YouTube channel. Thank you for joining me in this series where I'll be reacting to a number of classic footballers in years gone by who I've not really seen all too much of. If you don't know me, my name's Ben and I got into football around 2007, so anything before that I don't really know all too much about. In the previous two episodes we reacted to Eric Cantona and to Dennis Bergkamp, two top footballers who I'm now quite clued up on, and in today's video we're keeping the bar set right at the top. We are going to be reacting to R9 Ronaldo. Now I hate to be one of those people, but to be honest with you, most of the things that I know about Ronaldo are probably through playing FIFA, to be honest with you. I wasn't really around during his heyday, was I? But in today's video we're going to be checking him out, so as always, if you do go in to enjoy, make sure to leave a like and do stick around and subscribe to the Planet Football YouTube channel for some regular content. So let's go ahead and check this one out. Just how good was R9? Let's find out.
Ronaldo was born to be the perfect footballer. From the very beginning, as early as he can remember, he would be groomed by the streets of Rio de Janeiro his entire childhood. Ronaldo was so passionate about football that his mother, Sonia, would recall his childhood days saying, "I always found him on the streets, playing with his friends when he should have been in school." When he was 11 years old, Ronaldo's parents would go through a divorce.
His early career I know very little about, by the way. It's only really some of the stuff later on that I'm really clued up on, so all this is new to me.
Football would be Ronaldo's go-to, his escape, and his saving grace no matter the circumstance. This dedication and passion for the game made him blessed by the football gods. The football loved him just as much as he loved the game. At the age of 12, Ronaldo would join a local indoor futsal team called Social Ramos and go on to score 166 goals on his first season, which included a time where he scored a mind-blowing 11 out of his team's 12 total goals in a single match. Like, just imagine how the players on the other team must have
He's
felt.
not bad early on signs, that is it.
Probably would have left after that 10th goal. Ronaldo would say that because he grew up playing on the streets, futsal was his first love when it came to the game. It's where he said he learned to be able to control the ball and move in the tightest of spaces, along with learning to have an incredibly soft touch, after playing in narrow alleyways with uneven paving his entire childhood, forcing him to master his control of the ball. The
so
young
interesting
Ronaldo would
futsal
eventually
as well,
be spotted
so
by
interesting.
Brazilian legend Jairzinho, who, if you didn't know, led his country in scoring in the 1970 World Cup, even though he had Pelé as a teammate, which can only attest to his ability. When Jairzinho saw the young Ronaldo, he saw a player with incredible potential, a kid who just seemed different from all the others. So naturally, he knew that he had to have the young Ronaldo on his team. Jairzinho would quickly recognize the pure talent and skill that the young child prodigy Ronaldo had, and recommended that the 16-year-old should join his former club, Cruzeiro. However, Ronaldo had always wanted to play for Flamengo, a Brazilian team he supported ever since he was a child, and also a club where Brazilian legends like Zizinho once played. However, Flamengo never decided to wait and give Ronaldo a chance. Jairzinho would push Ronaldo to play for Cruzeiro anyways, and speak to the club with a personal recommendation to eventually get him signed. This would finally—
I mean, in terms of missed opportunities, looking back on them and things like that, opting not to sign R9 Ronaldo probably turned out to be a bit of a mistake.
Career. At the incredibly young age of only 16, Ronaldo would make his professional debut for Cruzeiro. I mean, when I was 16, I was still playing Pokemon on my Nintendo DS. Could you just imagine?
Same here, albeit I wasn't, you know, a professional footballer by that point.
Being that young and playing against fully grown men, it would take Ronaldo only a few months to gain national attention, when he would score 5 goals in a single game, shocking even established footballers from his own country. Former Brazilian captain and legend Cafu recalls seeing Ronaldo play for the first time, saying, "He was still a kid. It was in a game where he ended up scoring 5 goals. From that point on, he showed that he was truly a phenomenon." By this point, Flamengo realized just how big of a mistake they made by not giving Ronaldo a chance, because in his 2 seasons for Cruzeiro, Ronaldo would score an amazing 44 goals in 47 games. An incredible—
I mean, that off the bat right there, for a teenager to be putting up those numbers, Jesus, I imagine that was frightening during the time.
Goal scoring ratio of 0.94 goals a game at the age of 16, helping his club, which was by no means a real contender, win the Brazilian Cup. Ronaldo as a 17.
I mean, like, the only thing I have to like draw comparisons to of like the modern game and like nowadays and things like that is like we're seeing like the emergence of like Haaland and Mbappe coming through and things like that. But what Ronaldo obviously went on to achieve and the player he became, yeah, I'm guessing this was quite the storm back in the day when he was coming through.
year-old was asked to join the Brazilian national team for their 1994 World Cup run. Brazil would go on to win that World Cup, in which Ronaldo did not play at all, or for that matter, wasn't really even needed. But the experience of his seniors and multiple legends on that team would help mentor him as much as they could, along with giving Ronaldo a taste at world victory. After the 1994 World Cup, Ronaldo would move to the Netherlands to play for PSV Eindhoven, after former Brazilian teammate and legend Romario, who won the 1994 World Player of the Year and 1994 World Cup Golden Boot and Golden Ball, would recommend Ronaldo to play for the club, as he himself had played for them. Ronaldo would continue his absolutely phenomenal play by scoring 35 goals in 36 appearances in his first season in the Eredivisie, an insane .97 goals per game ratio. In fact, after scoring a hat-trick in the UEFA Cup
dribbling's unbelievable, isn't it?
German World Cup winner Rudi Völler said, "Never in my life have I seen an 18-year-old play this way. Ronaldo was so skilled at dribbling the ball, it was like it was glued to his feet," with some even saying that it seemed like he was even faster dribbling the ball than running without it. His second season at PSV would see him suffer the first injury of his career, causing him to play nearly 50% less matches than last season. But nevertheless,
that's one of the very few things that I really know about Ronaldo. Sort of the esteem that people talk about Ronaldo, and they say he would have been on that level of sort of like Ronaldo and Messi, obviously CR7 who I'm talking about here, had it not been for those injuries, and so, sort of in terms of natural ability, some people still put him right up there and stuff like that. It's just that he couldn't quite have that longevity because of the injuries. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see just how much they ended up actually impacting him throughout this video.
Before he went down, managed to score 19 goals in 21 games.
It's still ridiculous.
A goal per game ratio, all at the age of 19. Before he would even turn 21, he broke the world record transfer fee of 19.5 million euros, which back in 1996 was an absolutely insane amount of money. When Barcelona decided to go all out and grab him, he would be worth every single cent and more, as during his first season, Ronaldo scored an insane 47 goals in 49 appearances, winning him the La Liga Top Scorer award and the European Golden Boot. He would also help Barcelona win the UEFA Cup by scoring in the final itself, along with winning the Spanish Super Cup and Copa del Rey.
Okay, now I properly realise how much of like a serious player he was, because the numbers before this were absolutely ridiculous, but he'd obviously done it in Brazil and the Netherlands before, but straight away with Barcelona he's hitting it off.
Ronaldo was at his physical prime at Barcelona, being insanely fast and strong, along with having the perfect size for a forward to be able to body defenders trying
He's
to
just got everything to him, doesn't he?
Many of his goals would include him running around the goalkeeper like he was playing with kids. An Atletico Madrid player, Quentin Fortune, would say, "As a kid, I wanted to be Pelé. I bought all the books, all the videos, and I studied what I could to be like the best. I set off on that path. Then I met Ronaldo. Some players were technical, some were quick, some were
He just
strong,
looks a complete level above everyone else on the pitch here."
Which was absolutely true. Players would even try to foul him, but his quick movement, size, and strength combined with his incredible dribbling brushed defenders off like nothing. Jose
that was
Mourinho,
outrageous.
back when he worked for FC Barcelona when Ronaldo was playing there, would say, "I have
he
no
just
doubt
sort of like
Ronaldo
floats
is the
around
greatest
people,
player
doesn't
I
he?
have ever seen in my life." And he would later confirm the same thing in an interview back in 2014. Ronaldo's first and only season with Barcelona saw him as the youngest player to ever win the FIFA World Player of the Year award. However, he would
from the clip so far, he's looked absolutely outrageous, hasn't he?
only placed second in Ballon d'Or voting, losing to Matthias Samar of Borussia Dortmund by a single vote.
Wow.
That's right, by a single vote. By the end of his career, Ronaldo would have had 3 Ballon d'Ors if he had won that one, which he clearly deserved.
Yeah, I imagine that caused quite the stir at the time.
1997, Ronaldo would once again break the world record transfer fee in back-to-back years, being the only player to ever do so. That's just how valuable he was. Inter Milan decided to go all out themselves and pay a 27 million euro fee to get him. While his goal-scoring numbers weren't as high, they were definitely great, as he was transitioning into the Serie A, which back then was considered the most heavily defensive league. Despite that, he still managed to score 34 goals in 47 matches, which is still...
that's still ridiculous. I thought they were going to say he scored like 20 goals or something. That would still be respectable. But if you're still putting up 34 in a season...
Still an amazing .72 goals per game ratio.
He's still outrageous.
Ronaldo also learned to become a more complete forward, racking up assists and taking and scoring free kicks. In his first season with Inter Milan, he would be rightfully handed the FIFA World Player of the Year award again, as as well as finally winning the Ballon d'Or, making him the youngest player to ever win the award at 20 years old, which, and I can't stress
so he's
enough,
still only
should
20
have been
at
his
this
second
stage.
Ballon d'Or, as he definitely deserved one in 1996 as well. In 1998, Ronaldo was already considered the undisputed greatest striker in the world. At just 22 years old,
his
he was already
movement's just
appointed as the
different,
captain of his
crazy.
Inter Milan squad. And although we would start to see him suffering a few injuries at this time and missing some games, he would still score 15 goals in 28 appearances, winning the Serie A Player of the Year award. He was phenomenal in the 1998 World Cup as well, scoring 4 goals and getting 3 assists, winning him the Player of the Tournament award. Unfortunately, Ronaldo and Brazil would infamously break down in the final and lost to France. But regardless of that, nobody questioned Ronaldo's skills for even a moment. However, in 1999, Ronaldo, who seemed absolutely unstoppable, infamously began to suffer a string of severe injuries.
Okay, so this is where it really
limp off the
started.
pitch during a Lazio match, only to discover that he suffered a ruptured tendon on his knee and required major surgery. He would be gone for half a year until he would play the first leg of a Coppa Italia match. As history would have it, it was way too early for Inter Milan to let him play, as after only 6 minutes, he collapsed on the floor and the world would learn that he suffered a complete rupture of his kneecap tendons. It was so impactful that opposing players like Diego Simeone even went up to him to help the young star. Like I said, Ronaldo was never a player that people hated, so even for opposing players, it was just sad to see. Ronaldo would miss the entirety of the 2000-2001 season and about 80% of the 2001-2002 season. Many people thought that after all the surgeries and irreplaceable damage to his knees, Ronaldo would never be the same.
I mean, it is one of the real sad things about his career, obviously, we sort of spoke about it before. Had he had that longevity, undoubtedly he'd have been right up there. Probably in terms of one of the greatest ever, in terms of what I've seen in this video so far.
He would lose his touch, skill, and eye for goal. However, the 2002 World Cup would shock the entire world and forever establish his name as the phenomenon. Prior to the World Cup, Brazil was doing horrendous and, to many, were lucky to even qualify for the tournament. But with Ronaldo playing, it was a different story. He would lead his country to the 2002 World Cup
the
trophy,
haircut I've
scoring
obviously
in every
seen as
match
well.
except in the quarterfinal against England, ultimately ending with 8 goals and winning the tournament's Golden Boot. His comeback was talked about all over the world and would earn him the 2002 FIFA World Player of the Year award and the 2002 Ballon d'Or, which nobody questioned at all. And I just have to remind you guys again, should have been his 3rd Ballon d'Or. When Ronaldo signed with Real Madrid after the World Cup, his jersey sales would break all records on the very first day. Ronaldo would score in the final season match for Real Madrid, winning them the La Liga title as well as scoring in the Intercontinental Cup and Spanish Super Cup finals. Ronaldo would also famously score a hat-trick against Manchester United in the Champions League quarterfinal, which caused the entirety of Old Trafford to stand and give him a loud applause as he exited the game on the 80th minute.
I mean, that's
in the
respect.
Champions League semi-final, he scored a goal and helped Real Madrid win 2-1 over Juventus on the first leg, but received an injury and wouldn't play during their second meeting, much to the demise of Real Madrid, as without him, they were eliminated from the competition. He would end his first season in Madrid scoring 30 goals and having 8 assists in 44 appearances.
Yeah, still
a
ridiculous
0.68
numbers.
goals per game ratio. The next season, Ronaldo was visibly different. He seemed like he gained a lot of weight compared to his physical peak prior to the injuries that destroyed his knees. However, not too many people took too much attention to it at the time, as he was still doing what he did best, scoring beautiful goals. Real Madrid were actually on track to win a treble in Ronaldo's second season, but injuries again prevented him from reaching further accomplishments. He would miss the Copa del Rey final,
Goals are still
which
outrageous.
they would lose, and also get eliminated
speed
in
as
the
well.
Champions League quarterfinal without him. This was also the season he scored that iconic 15-second goal. Ronaldo would still manage 31 goals and 13 assists in 48 matches, a .65 goals per game ratio, which was still impressive considering all the stars Madrid had during their Galacticos era that individually could all find their own ways of getting the ball in the back of the net. Within the next few seasons at Real Madrid, Ronaldo's performances would gradually decrease over the years, scoring less and less while also noticeably losing pace and gaining a lot of weight. In fact, during his 2 final seasons of Real Madrid, he would only play a total of 4 140 matches, which is less than he played on his 3rd season alone. Although even with this, it by no means meant that he performed poorly for Madrid at all, maintaining above a .50 goals per game ratio up until his final season, where he managed to make only 15 appearances. Unfortunately, Madrid fans could see the end of the road for Ronaldo.
I mean, that's like the Eden Hazard effect at Real Madrid this season at the moment, really, isn't he? Since he's made that move over, you know, injuries sort of hampered on him as well. Seemed like he gained a little bit of weight at times and things like that. But this, a whole other end of the spectrum, really.
His final years at Real Madrid were plagued with injuries, fitness issues, and substantial weight gain. Although he still had the skill, unfortunately, Ronaldo's body simply couldn't keep up with it. And with this, Ronaldo would depart Real Madrid in 2007 and head back to Italy to play for AC Milan. Despite the clear lack of fitness, Ronaldo still managed to score 7 goals in 14 matches, a testament to his pure skill alone. It's when he was in AC Milan that, on top of all the injuries he received during his career, he was diagnosed with hyperthyroidism. And for anyone who doesn't know, it slows down a person's metabolism extremely, making it very easy to gain weight in a short amount of time and much more difficult for you to lose it. This condition was diagnosed in 2007, but, as many expect, could have been present with Ronaldo ever since 2003, after his World Cup winning year. Ronaldo's 2nd season for AC Milan saw him playing less than 300 minutes, which for anyone who witnessed him in his prime was truly a saddening sight, as during a match he would once again suffer a horrifying knee injury that required him to get wheeled off directly to the hospital, where he wouldn't play football for several months once again. Ronaldo would finally go back to Brazil to play the last few years of his career. In 2009, if you were to look at Ronaldo and didn't know any better, you would think that he was already retired.
I mean, yeah, this was pretty much like the stage of football that I was properly getting into now. So, yeah, by that point that I was properly like sort of getting back into stuff. Ronaldo obviously had gone back to Brazil by that point, so the interest was just never there from my perspective.
His weight gain was even more severe. Nonetheless, in his 3 seasons with Brazilian side Corinthians, he managed to help them win the Brazilian Cup in 2009. Although clearly a shadow of what he was before, Ronaldo was still loved by the people to no end. Every single game he scored in sent fans absolutely wild with happiness at just seeing their idol score once more. In fact, in his first season, he scored 8 goals in 9
He's got
matches,
people falling over even to this stage of his career.
The Brazilian national team to call him up just one more time, for old time's sake. That's just how much the people of Brazil respected and loved him. They knew he wasn't there to score and dominate like he used to, but to just see him touch the ball and even score made the fans go absolutely wild. Watching him score some of the last goals in his career, you can't help but just smile, as you can feel just how special of a moment it is for not only himself, but his fans and peers as well. Ronaldo announced his retirement in 2011, saying that his hyperthyroidism had gotten the best of him, and the many severely crippling injuries he received throughout his career were just too much for his body to handle. To this day, Ronaldo remains one of the most iconic players ever, and to some, he was even the greatest.
Yeah, and that is quite a sad end really to what was obviously at his peak probably one of the best of all time, and like the narrator just said there, you know, some people still consider him to be the greatest for that ridiculous peak, which, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, looked absolutely outrageous. But guys, there we have it. That will wrap it up for today's reaction video to R9 Ronaldo. I mean, how could I not be impressed by watching some of those clips? Realistically, that was always going to happen, wasn't it? But I would love to get your guys' suggestions in the comments down below for any other classic footballers of years gone by that you'd like to see me react to. So literally anyone like pre-2007 sort of thing, get them in the comments down below and I'll have a look into them. Apart from that though, that'll wrap it up for today's video. If you went to enjoy, leave a like and do stick around and subscribe. But apart from that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.